royalist. I took my youngest son, who was 6, almost.
Ollie, we're live. How we doing?
Yeah, well, good, mate. You?
Very good, very good. I'm here in HQ, as you can see. So if there's a little bit of noise in the background for people watching, it's just because it's a busy office. There's a lot going on after the bank holiday. How was your coronation bank holiday?
It was good, mate. Thanks. It was mostly about my daughter's birthday. Her birthday was the same day as the coronation, so haven't had much of a chance to watch much of it yet. But I'm sure I'll get a bit viewed on catch up. You know.
Yeah, she took a priority over the king for the weekend.
Yeah, I think we'd be in her bad books if we hadn't done it that way, mate. So no, she had a great day, birthday at a trampoline park type of thing with all her little friends, and lots of cake and presents. You know, standard 7-year-old stuff, really.
Yeah, love that. And I guess, in fact, you probably got your daughter's birthday, and obviously the launch on Friday. So the king was like third. He was third on the list of priorities for this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Well, as people start realising we're live and join in, obviously this is just a little get to know Ollie. We're going to find out, move away from the property element of things, a little bit of property in there, but just get to know you a little bit more. So
Sure.
I've got a couple of quick fire questions for you, Ollie. Are you ready?
Go for it, mate.
First question, how long have you been in property?
It's going to be just over 18 years now.
Just over 18. And why did you get into property? How did it happen? How did you become an estate agent? What's the story there?
Well, so when I was in my younger days, probably very unmotivated, shall we say. My parents dragged me down to the local job centre, stuck me in front of a careers advisor, and the careers advisor said, "So what is it you're looking to achieve?" And me being a flippant teenager said, "I want to make as much money as possible." And they went, "Oh, have you considered estate agents?" So I was like, actually, my granddad was an estate agent. I've got uncles who are estate agents. So I kind of thought, oh, actually, that sounds like a bit of me, actually. And so I took my first job at the Halifax when they still had estate agents all those years ago. When I was 17 and haven't really looked back, mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Where was that? What branch was that for Halifax?
That was in Crawley, so that was my hometown where I grew up. So yeah, in Sussex.
Nice. It's funny, isn't it? You go to a career advisor, you give them a bit of a smart aleck response, and they go, estate agency for you.
Yeah. It was obviously very good at what he did, because here I am. So
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to us about family. So what's Ollie Hawkins' immediate family look like?
So there's myself, my wife Kirsty, and we've got 2 daughters. So Ava's the eldest, the one that's just turned 7, and Isla's our youngest, who is nearly 3.
And I also met another member of the family as well. When
the fur baby, as the missus refers to him. Yeah, so Ralph, our little dog pug. Yeah, he's a good boy.
So that's the mob, that's the gang, that's the Hawkins crew, and you're pretty much based in Tadley. You guys have lived there for the last couple of years, haven't you?
Yeah, so it's just over 5 years now we've been in Tadley. We're living in Woodley before, and Arborfield before in a rental, just looking for an area that was good schools. We're not somewhere too overpopulated. We quite like the sort of semi-rural feel, and it ticked all the boxes for where I was working at the time, commuting there. Kirsty's a midwife at the Royal Berks, so she has to have decent access to that for work. So yeah, it's just suited us nicely.
It's worked out well. Yeah, I know you're quite a fan of Tadley from when I came to see you, and kind of that area. You've really sort of built a nice little close community with like school mums and dads and things like that as well.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know Tadley, how would you describe Tadley as an area to a new buyer potentially coming into the area?
So, the first time we ever went to Tadley was literally just to view a house. We'd never been there before, seen it on the map sort of thing. But no, we the thing with Tadley, and I think what we're seeing a lot of at the moment is I think historically it's a town for older people generally. The reason Tadley generally exists is because of the AWE and obviously it's sort of the housing for people that work there. But so a lot of the sort of aging population who are the early people that moved in the sort of 60s, 70s, they're now sort of moving on, and there's a real wealth of young couples and young families coming into the area. We're one of quite a few sort of young families that have come to Tadley for a lot of the reasons that we moved there. You know, you're 20 minutes from Reading, you know, Newbury, Basingstoke. You know, there's a train station down the road in Bramley, which takes you directly to Reading or Basingstoke if you need it. Schools are really good, to be fair. You know, and there's just, you know, there's lots. It's a very family orientated area that, you know, they've just invested, you know, hundreds of thousands of pounds in the new skate park. You know, we've obviously got new supermarkets that are coming to town, so it's just sort of really an area that very much feels like it's on, you know, it's on the move upwards. And you know, house prices in Tadley still comparatively to places like your Reading or other sort of larger towns are generally more attractive.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like I'm in Crowthorne, and you kind of look at Crowthorne, and typically it's a generation or two above me is the sort of stereotypical. But in the last 5-6 years, mainly because of the primary schools, it's drawn in this kind of mid-generation with young kids. Sounds very similar. And Thatcham obviously is next door, and another area that you're keen to cover. I've actually worked Thatcham as an agent for a short period of time, but that is a buzzing market, you know, just siding on to Newbury, but it's a buzzing market. It's an exciting one to get your teeth stuck into there, I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, for a lot of the same reasons why we like Tadley, you know, we spend a lot of time in Thatcham. They're great. You know, the Nature Discovery Centre is a place we take the kids to all the time, you know, feeding the ducks and, you know, just sort of taking Ralph out for a walk around. You know, in the summer it's great. You've got sort of like it's not, I wouldn't call it a beach, but there's like a side of the lake where, you know, there's, you know, you can have a nice picnic and things like that. So, you know, Thatcham is, you know, it's great. Loads of amenities there as well that we tend to take advantage of. So, yeah, no, it's a great market though. Lots moving there as well.
Love that. So let's get random. What's your sport? What's the go-to sport for Ollie? If you're going to watch anything, what would you watch?
If I was going to watch anything, it'd probably be rugby or ice hockey.
Okay, ice hockey. Interesting.
Yeah. I used to play roller hockey as a kid back in the day. So it's a sport that's always kind of been close to my heart. It's not something I'd say I particularly am up on, but you know, I'd much rather go and watch a game of ice hockey than a game of football. You know, so you know, just want to see if sort of, you know, the fights make it interesting. Let's put it that way.
It's a rough sport. I mean, rugby and ice hockey, two fairly brutal sports there, which is going to keep you engaged for sure. And what about if you had to have one meal for the rest of your life? What would that meal be?
Oh, yeah. This is the sort of question that comes up over the dinner table every now and again, and I can never ever decide. But I have to say, macaroni cheese is a firm favourite. So I think I'd probably have to go with that. You know, with a bit of garlic bread on the side.
Mac and cheese, yeah, interesting. And what's taking it back to property? What would be your kind of thoughts on the market? You know, what is your expectations for, let's say, the next 7 months of this year? You know, how do you see 2023 rolling out between now and the end of the year?
As far as Tadley and Thatcham are concerned, I think there's probably a lot of price adjustments that are going to be needed. If you actually look on Rightmove, there's a hell of a lot of properties which have been reduced over the last sort of couple of months, and some that have been on the market for some time. I think there's a few factors in play with that, but what I'm hoping with, especially the talk of this 100% mortgage that's been sort of thrown about this morning. You know, I think it was from Skipton Building Society. But yeah, so I think ultimately we need to start seeing more first-time buyers coming into the market to add that fuel. And I think interest rates rises recently have sort of dulled that market slightly. But if these 100% mortgages come along and you know, there is hopefully changes within interest rates, you know, we should start to see that market movement. But if not, and I think, you know, looking at what I'm seeing out there at the moment, if you're a motivated seller, you need to really be pricing right in the market at the moment, because it seems a lot aren't. And I think the evidence of that is the ones that have been sat around for so long.
Yeah, I think if the pricing's right, the property moves, and we're seeing that at the moment. I think we're probably expecting to see maybe interest rates creep up a little bit over the next couple of months, but nothing significant, just a bit of this going on. But it'll be an interesting one to see roll out. For you, obviously starting a business, you know, 18 years being employed as an estate agent, why did you decide that this was the route for you?
I think for many many reasons really. But I think, you know, having a young family and young kids, you know, I'd only ever be seeing them at, you know, 7 o'clock at night when I got home from my commute, and they were going to bed. And then obviously having to, you know, work weekends within my employed role as well meant that I just wasn't really getting quality family time. You know, they're only young once, and you know, there's a lot of developmental sort of milestones when they're in their younger phases. So a lot of that I miss with my eldest, which I'm going to hopefully try and avoid missing with my youngest.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, because like you say, they're only young once, and it can be quite a tough job for agents in terms of time constraints of being here at a certain time, working to a certain time, 6-day weeks, etc. What this really does is it's going to give you the ability to be a happier person. If you're a happy person, happier clients, the wheel goes round, and everyone's in a better place. What would you say is your kind of your unique selling points to the people of Tadley and Thatcham? What are the kind of the reasons to use Ollie Hawkins' business in that area?
Well, I think the reason to use me over others is the fact that, you know, you know, as per the avocado model, we use a lot of social media targeted. You know, we specifically target buyers, you know, through social media who may not necessarily be looking at Tadley and Thatcham on Rightmove. You know, so you know, again, for a lot of the reasons where I came from before, you know, we just happened upon Tadley. Whereas by utilizing this technology, we can actually, you know, we can avoid those sort of right buyers, you know, from finding the properties that you know might be suitable within the areas that I cover. You know, I'm a single point of contact agent, and you know, I'm not defined by opening hours. So, you know, on the bank holiday, you can be pretty much guaranteed, or all of the other agents in the high street were closed. Whereas, you know, you could still contact me. Where I think if you're a seller or a landlord looking for a buyer or a tenant, I think it's really important to know that your agent is, you know, is contactable any time of the day, any day of the week, you know, be it public holidays or not, because you know, you might miss out on that right opportunity or right inquiry by being closed on that day.
It just makes a difference, doesn't it? It makes a huge difference being able to know that you can drop a WhatsApp or drop an email, it's going to be responded to, and you're not kind of, you know, sat there twiddling your thumbs as such. So I know it was a big day on Friday, the launch of your business. It was exciting watching it unfold. Lots of comments, lots of shares. The video's been watched thousands of times, which is awesome to see. And yeah, it's been cool getting to know you across the last couple of minutes as well, last 12 minutes. For people out there, if people are watching this and we're no longer live, feel free to drop some questions in for Ollie in the comments. Later on this evening when you get home from work, you might check out the video. So yeah, drop them in the comments, and obviously Ollie will respond to you accordingly. But yeah, Good luck with your first week in business, Ollie. I know you've been busy because I see you beavering away today. So yeah, thanks for jumping online and sharing all about you.
Always a pleasure, mate. No, thanks ever so much for your time.